Hello lovelies, how are you today? And welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and I'm the sole proprietor of SAEH Body Butter. And I hope you enjoy the next video. Thank you. Hello lovelies, I'm about to make some wax melts and I thought I'd take you along for the ride. So I have my pour pot right here, and in here I've measured out my portion of wax melt. This is a mixture of paraffin and soy. I use half and half. I used to use 100% soy, but soy has a tendency to frost. That once your wax melt solidifies, you have this like white casting over your wax melts, and it makes it look kind of funny. I mean, it still burns. It you know, it's not aesthetically pleasing. So what I do is mix half and half paraben and half soy. So I'm gonna take this pour pot and put it in my double boiler, and I'm gonna turn that on until the wax melts. And you need a heat thermometer. You need a heat thermometer so that you can check your temperature. This should melt to 185 degrees. And then I let it cool to about 165, 170. Well, let me take the step back. Once it's completely melted, I will add in my colorant. And then I will let that cool down to about 165 to 170, and I'll add my fragrance. And the reason why I let it cool off some, because you don't want to add your fragrance oil too soon that it burns off some of the fragrance. And one of the things that I love making wax melts is that you have a little more leniency as far as how much fragrance oil you can add to your wax melt. When you do candles, it's strictly science. Your fragrance load is no more than 10% most of the time, but it depends on the wax that you're using. Whereas with a wax melt, you can go from anywhere from 10% to 18%. And that depending on your fragrance oil. Some fragrance oils are lighter. They have a real light scent, so you may go to the 18% to get that strong hot burn. Or if it's a strong scent, you may be on the lower side, 10 to 12%. So it just depends. Each wax is different. Each fragrance is different. And like I said, the reason why I like to do wax melts, because you have a little more leniency. You don't have to do as much testing as you do with candles. But anywho, I'm going to sit here and let this melt. And you don't want your flame up real high. You want to do a slow melt because you don't want your wax to burn. So once it gets everything melted, I'll bring you back. Okay, the wax is completely melted. So I'm going to take my heat thermometer and check out. And as you see, hopefully that come in is at 199. So as I said, I normally like to heat it to 185. Right now I'm going to add a couple of drops of colorant. I like the liquid. They also come in like wax cubes, like crowns. But I like the liquid because the liquid is already liquid. I don't have to wait for it to melt or anything. Because sometimes those wax colorant cubes, they don't melt all the way for me. And it shows. Okay, I turned the heat off. My see, I have it that red color, but when it cools off and solidifies, the color tends to lighten up some. So now let's go to the fragrance oil. So I have about 2.55 ounces of wax because I only need to make 4 wax melts of this particular scent. And so I'm doing a 15% 15% fragrance load. So that's about 0.40. So I'm gonna measure this out. Whoop. Let's get ready to put the wrong scent in there. I'm doing hot apple pie. Okay, I'm about a 0.5 over, but that's no big deal. Again, I'm not going to add the fragrance to the wax until it cools off, because if you add it when the wax is too hot, most of your fragrance burns off. And so then when you put your wax melts in the warmer, you be wondering why it's not giving you a strong hot throw. And that may be one of the reasons why. So let me take it off the heat. That will help it cool off. We're at 196, so we have a ways to go. And you can stir it. That helps cools it off. But I don't want to stir it too much right now because I have a metal spoon against this metal and it's going to make a lot of clanking noise. But when I add the fragrance in here, I am going to have to stir it for 2 minutes. So we're going to have some clanking going on. I don't like to use a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon because that has a tendency to absorb your fragrance, and I don't want to cheat these wax melts out of the scent. Now that cooled off pretty good. We're at 173. So I'm going to add we're at 171. I'm waiting for it to get down to 170. Stir it a little bit more. All right. We're at 167. So pour my wax, my fragrance oil in here. And once you add your fragrance oil, your wax has a tendency to cool off real quick. So, Alexa, give me a 2-minute timer. So I'm going to stir this for 2 minutes. And then we're going to pour it in the mold. And I forgot to pull my mold out. I really don't have enough space right here. I got too much going on. So I got to move some stuff to the side. Wax melts are so easy to make, I tell you. Like I said, I prefer this over candle making. I tried making candles, but you got to test each wick. You got to test each wax. You got to test each fragrance, each container. It was too much testing for me. So every time you change your fragrance, you have to test different wicks, because the same wick may not work with the various fragrances, and so on and so forth. And you got to do burn tests, and you know, to see how the wax is melting, if it's pooling, if it's you know, if it's going to flood out your wick. It's a lot of testing. You know, like I said, it's very scientific. But once you get it down, you know, you're good to go. Hopefully the 2 minutes are almost up. Alexa, stop. She must have heard me. So let's see what the temperature is now. It's at 137, which is good, because a good pour temperature is between 130 and 135. That will also help your wax melts not get that frosting on it. But I don't typically experience that problem anymore now that I use the half and half. Let me get my mold and I'll bring you right back. Okay. And I love making wax melts. Another reason why is because it makes your whole house smell so good. Alrighty. All I needed was 4, but my my wax is starting to thicken up on me, so I'm placing it back in the burner. It's not on, but the water is still warm, so it's going to help melt it so that I can get this last wax melt out, poured. Alrighty, let me wipe the bottom of this pour pot off so no water will get in the wax melt. You know what? I'm gonna get another and I like to sit my fragrance next to the row that I poured so that I won't get confused and try to figure out what is what. So I'm pulling out another mold and I will pour that, my extra, in there. Okay. Let me get a paper towel and I'll show you how I clean out the pour pot. Okay, all you need to do is get a dry paper towel, and wipe the inside of your pour pot. Okay, it's all clean. You have no wax residue. And then what I'll do is take some alcohol and spray it inside and wipe it again to help kill off the scent. And that helped kill off the scent so that when you do some more wax melts, you don't have the previous scent in your pour pot. So that is basically it. That is how you do wax melts. And it takes about 2 hours for them to completely solidify. So I will show you the end result when that time has come. Okay, the wax melts are finished and I'm going to demold them. And basically I just turn the mold over and gently press in the middle and they release. And this is what they look like. So as not to confuse myself or forget, I will demold them one color at a time so that I can bag it. And then I will set the color next to it. I mean, not the color, the fragrance bottle next to it. And I will label them tomorrow. And I think this is a 5x5 bag. And this fits 4 wax melts in it. And it weighs approximately 3 ounces. So they're about 0.75 each wax melt. So these are the hot apple pie. Let me move that over here. And then what we got next, we have the flannel. That's how that looks. Flannel sheets. Which is another nice winter scent. And I put them in polypropylene bags so that a regular plastic bag is not good because that will pull the scent from the wax melt. So the polypropylene bags are good for wax melts. That way the scent will stay in the wax melt and it won't get absorbed in the plastic bag. Let me get another bag. I wasn't too sure if they would fit in a 5x5 bag or if I needed the 6x6. And I wanted them to be a little darker in green. However, I ran out of green, so I had to make my own, which was a couple of drops of yellow and a drop of blue. I should have added another drop of blue so it could be darker. But anywho, and this is 'Tis the Season. And these right here are some of the wax melts. I had a little extra, so I try to keep a mold close by so I can pour out the extra so it won't go to waste. Isn't that cute? That smiley face? That is so cute. And this is a 3x3 bag. So I think I can get 2 in there. Yeah. Well, that's what I'll do. And what I got next? Let me see. Let me give me a 4x4 bag. No. I'll get another 3x3 if I can find it. Here we go. And sometimes when you demold your wax melts, you have a little, I don't know if you can see that in the crevices, but you have some wax residue. And all I do is stick it in the microwave for about 20 seconds and let it melt down and then wipe it out with a paper towel. I have a microwave that's in my workroom that's specifically for crafts. So I wipe out my molds the same way I did the pour tin. Wipe it out with a paper towel and then spray it down with alcohol and wipe it again. So the first wipe is to get out the wax, and the second wipe with the alcohol is get the scent out. So that is it. And I generally, on the label, I generally like my wax melts to sit for about 2 weeks before they burn. Just to make sure that the scent is in there. Alrighty, that is the end of my wax melt tutorial. I really think those smiley faces are so cute. Alrighty, lovelies, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.